Hello there, and welcome to day 2 of dreaming again. This is where we may, that where you may get a little bit of anxiety of, oh my gosh, that the old has passed and the new is here, and I'm starting to see the truth. I'm starting to see the truth of who I am. I'm starting to believe that I can dream again. How do I get to that point? How do I dig deep and listen to what my soul and what God is really telling me? And then the next part in the Course in Miracles that came up for today was waking to redemption. It's impossible not to believe what you see, but it's also equally impossible to see what you do not believe. Perceptions are built up on the basis of experience, and experience leads to beliefs. It's not until beliefs are fixed that perceptions stabilize. And, I just realized that we were going through this astrological transit of the fixed signs, okay? And that is Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. Those are the fixed signs. And this is really about kind of getting through that fixed perception, that fixed nature, all right, and really allowing us to kind of open up and see what's beyond of that perception, okay? Just kind of allowing perception to birth and become itself, all right, instead of having a perception that we think it has to be. So it's not until these beliefs, are fixed, that they can stabilize. So we kind of will go down and realize what is us, right? And in effect, what you believe, you do see. So then we start realizing, wow, I guess I've been seeing this in my reality because it's what I believed. So what do I believe? What are my true beliefs? And we can get to that without trying to force that. What do I have to believe? What do I need to believe? But sometimes we have to just let go and go through our world, and we realize it comes to us. Well, this is, a situation is presenting itself, and we're actually kind of put in a situation to stand up for our beliefs. And then we can look back and realize, okay, well, that's obviously what I believe because I've been, put in that situation so many times to really, okay, that's it. There's no more questioning, no more doubting, right? So that is what is meant when, if you've ever heard, blessed are ye who have not seen and still believe. That's faith. For those who believe in the resurrection will see it, okay? The resurrection is the complete triumph of Christ over the ego, not by attack, but by transcendence. For Christ does rise above the ego and all its works, and ascends to the Father and his kingdom. Would you join in the resurrection or the crucifixion? Would you condemn your brothers or free them? Would you transcend your prison and ascend to the Father? These questions are all the same and are answered together. There has been much confusion about what perception means, because the word is used both for awareness and for the interpretation of awareness. Yet you cannot be aware without interpretation, for what you perceive is your interpretation. So the Course in Miracles is perfectly clear. I feel like if you do not see it clearly, it's because you are interpreting against it, and therefore do not believe it. And since belief determines perception, you do not perceive what it means, and therefore do not accept it. I feel like it's talking about we're not allowing ourselves to see the truth because we already have a fixed idea or perception of how it should be, or it can give you anxiety when the truth is presented and all is this. So it could mean that your world in a way is ending. It's like, wait a minute, if that's all I've ever known and there's a different way, then my whole reality changes. And who am I, right? It comes back to identity. It's like, then what does that make me? Who am I? So different experiences will lead to different beliefs, and with them will also bring different perceptions. For perceptions are learned with beliefs, and experience does not teach. I'm leading you to a new kind of experience that you will become less and less willing to deny. Learning of Christ is easy, for to perceive with him involves no strain at all. His perceptions are your natural awareness, and it is only the distortions you introduce that tire you. Let the Christ in you interpret for you, and do not try to limit what you see by narrow little beliefs that are unworthy of God's Son. For until Christ comes into his own, the Son of God will see himself as fatherless. I am your resurrection and your life. You live in me because you live in God, and everyone lives in you as you live in everyone. Can you then perceive unworthiness in a brother and not perceive it in yourself? This is what I speak of a lot of, how, releasing judgments from others and grace, right? Providing grace to somebody because we ask for the same. And so what we see in another, we will see in ourselves, because when we have healed that in ourselves and we release that within ourselves, we understand that that person is probably going through the same thing that we did, just in a different way. Believe in the resurrection because it has been accomplished already, and it has been accomplished in you. This is as true now as it will ever be, for the resurrection is the will of God, which knows no time and no exceptions, meaning it's already been done. Anything that you have seen that has not been true or has been stating that it hasn't happened yet is a dream. Make no exceptions yourself, or you will not perceive what has been accomplished for you. For we ascend into the Father together, as it was in the beginning, is now and ever shall be. For such is the nature of God's Son, as his Father created him. Excuse me. Do not underestimate the power of the devotion of God's Son, nor the power of the God he worships has over him. For he places himself at the altar of his God, whether it be the God he made or the God who created him. That is why his slavery is as complete as his freedom, for he will obey only the God he accepts. The God of crucifixion demands that he crucify, and his worshippers obey. In his name they crucify themselves, believing that the power of the Son of God is born of sacrifice and pain. The God of resurrection demands nothing, for he does not will to take away. He does not require obedience, for obedience implies submission. He would only have you learn your will and follow it, not in the spirit of sacrifice and submission, but in the gladness of freedom. Resurrection must compel your allegiance gladly because it is the symbol of joy. Its whole compelling power lies in the fact that it represents what you want to be. The freedom to leave behind everything that hurts you and humbles you and frightens you cannot be thrust upon you, but it can be offered you through the grace of God. And you can accept it by his grace, for God is gracious to his Son, accepting him without question as his own. Whose then is your own? The Father has given you all that is his, and he himself is yours with them. Guard them in their resurrection, for otherwise you will not awake in God, safely surrounded by what is yours forever. You will not find peace until you have removed the nails from the hands of God's Son and taken the last thorn from his forehead. This is releasing all judgments on another and yourself. The love of God surrounds his Son, whom the God of crucifixion condemns. Teach not that I died in vain. Teach rather that I did not die by demonstrating that I live in you. This is really important. Okay, it's been coming up for me a lot that there was no death. There is no death, only life. For the undoing of the crucifixion of God's Son is the work of the redemption, in which everyone has a part of equal value. God does not judge his guiltless Son. Having given himself to him, how could it be otherwise? You have nailed yourself to a cross and placed a crown of thorns upon your own head. Yet you cannot crucify God's Son, for the will of God cannot die. His Son has been redeemed from his own crucifixion, and you cannot assign to death whom God has given eternal life. The dream of crucifixion still lies heavy on your eyes, but what you see in dreams is not reality. While you perceive the Son of God as crucified, you are asleep. And as long as you believe that you can crucify him, you are only having nightmares. You who are beginning to wake are still aware of dreams and have not yet forgotten them. The forgetting of dreams and the awareness of Christ come with the awakening of others to share your redemption, and also a place for the real dreams. You will awaken to your own call, for the call to awake is within you. If I live in you, you are awake, yet you must see the works I do through you, or you will not perceive that I have done them into you. Do not set limits on what you believe I can do through you, or you will not accept what I can do for you. Yet it is done already, and unless you give all that you have received, you will not know that your Redeemer lives, and that you have awakened with him. Redemption is recognized only by sharing it. God's Son is saved. Bring only this awareness to the sonship, and you will have a part in the redemption as valuable as mine. For your part must be like mine if you learn it of me. If you believe that yours is limited, you are limiting mine. There is no order of difficulty in miracles because all of God's sons are of equal value, and their equality is their oneness. The whole power of God is in every part of him, and nothing contradictory to his will is either great or small. What does not exist has no size and no measure. To God all things are possible, and to Christ it is given to be like the Father. Excuse me. My throat chakra tends to rise. So yeah, this is really, really important. This is very valuable information as far as letting the old dream go, allowing yourself to see. I do believe that when you open up and allow the works to be done through you, you allow to be shown the truth. And the more that it is being done through you, the more that you're waking up, the old is falling away. And so this is a beautiful time to allow and to trust and to see that, wow, I'm noticing things that could never be done by anyone. But a supernatural, but God, okay? And so it's beautiful to really, the more that this happens through you, for you, and you're sharing it, the old is just kind of fading and it's leaving, and it's this beautiful kind of, I'm kind of seeing this ripple, right? It's like the old just fades. It's like a fading out as an uncovering, right? Whereas you're starting to see the truth more and more in your reality, and it's happening so subtly. It's just happening very gently and gracefully. Dream again. And what I mean by dream again is allow the dreams of the truth to come through you. Allow yourself the option to actually see something different. And this is where you're going to find that joy and that freedom. Hello there, and welcome to day 2 of Dreaming Again. This is where we may, that where you may get a little bit of anxiety of, oh my gosh, that the old has passed and the new is here, and I'm starting to see the truth. I'm starting to see the truth of who I am.